Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik with RazorEmporium.com here today to try out our Try Wet Shaving Kit. So one of our most popular kits for sure we've ever had on our website has been the Try Wet Shaving Kit. And it's kind of one of the easiest ways to get into wet shaving. You have maybe heard about double edge or straight razor shaving and you're wanting to give this a shot for the first time and you're asking yourself, hey, what should I get? What kind of equipment? You've heard about Dovos, you've heard about fancy strops, and yes, I'm using my Leatherman. And you want to get started, but you don't want to break the bank. And I understand that because straight razor shaving is nothing but a lot of upfront investment. Between the razor, the strop, the products, you can spend hundreds of dollars, but you may not be happy. You may not even enjoy it. And so that's why we designed the Try Wet Shaving Kit as a way of getting started without breaking the bank. So, what comes in the kit? The very first thing that's going to come in your kit is this Parasso sample travel kit of your software products, i.e. your shaving cream. This is eucalyptus and menthol, travel size. Your pre-shave eucalyptus and menthol, pre-shave cream. Your aftershave balm. This is the white for sensitive skin. It has green tea and oatmeal in it. And last but not least, a cool little travel boar's brush. So even if this kit works out for you and you get into wet shaving, you buy other stuff, this travel stuff is great for exactly that, for your dot bag, for your next road trip. In terms of the hardware, we take a standard gold dollar number 208 carbon steel straight razor, and we perform some of the most needed kind of fixes on these stock razors. They're good razors to begin with. They are very well heat treated. They're properly ground. There's a lot of great things about them, but there's a couple little issues we don't necessarily love. Number one is the handles. They usually arrive, that faux carbon fiber plastic thing, that usually arrives bent or warped. So when you go to close your razor up, you're going to bang into those, and it's just not good. So we actually CNC cut these out of black acrylic here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we repin them. So it covers the handles. We also go through the toe and the heel and any kind of little burrs or kind of little discrepancies with the final grind. We get rid of those. And then lastly, we put a brand new edge. So our Honemeister goes through and puts a great shaving edge, the same as he'd put on a expensive Dovo razor, goes onto this. It's oiled, it's stropped, it's ready to go. So when you get it, just take it out of the package and use it. In fact, that's what we're going to do here today. And lastly, in your kit, you get a piece of black Latigo 2-inch travel strop. This is also great for practice. So if you have bought a fancy strop and you don't know how to use it yet or haven't had any practice, beat up this guy here, put all the nicks in this thing, because it's better to do it on something like this. It's relatively inexpensive versus your nice full-size hanging strop. But it's the exact same material as one of our full strops. It's just a smaller form factor. And you also have a cool chrome bowl to learn your ratios of product to water. And that's what we're going to do right now. So any beard prep, any shave prep involves a couple of things. We're going to first get our brush wet to let that kind of start soaking. I am also going to prep my beard. So normally I'd pop out of the shower and start shaving, but since I'm not going to take a shower here in camera, we will just use a towel and kind of start getting my face wet. As I said on many other shaving videos, I'm a big fan of the cold water shave. And even for situations like this, when you're kind of in a rush, cold water is probably the best kind of prep you could do for your skin, because it's actually going to make the skin firmer and put the hairs kind of up on edge, stand up, to help get a smooth, close shave. Okay, so our brush is pretty wet. I would normally kind of give it a couple shakeouts. And for the benefit of kind of making a lather for the first time, a chrome bowl or any kind of bowl really is great because you can mix in your product. So I'm going to put a kind of a dollop of cream there. And I'm just going to use the water that's kind of already residing on my boar's brush. And I'm going to start making a lather. And the number one thing I'm looking for is kind of the bubbles and the peaks. You kind of want to go to where it looks like whipped cream. You want that same kind of consistency where it's thick but looks really creamy and hydrated. What you don't want to look for, or what you want to avoid, I should say, is when you see a lot of bubbles, when it's too airy, and that means maybe you have got too much water, if it's kind of runny. Or the opposite is if it's too dry and it starts looking like it's, you know, caking up, it just looks more of like a powder, you know, kind of chalky. That means it's too dry, you need to add a little more water. Looks like my ratio here is looking pretty good. I'm gonna put that aside for just a moment and apply my pre-cream. So this is kind of Parasso's famous product. It's called a pre-post, which is actually is good for both before or after shaving. This was their original product they came out with back in the late 30s, early 40s. And I've always found my best results by just applying this directly with my fingers. I find this to be a great way of working it into the beard and also kind of feeling my stubble, kind of almost getting a game plan together of what I need to accomplish with my shave. Especially when I put some on my neck. Neck's a very sensitive area for most guys. And I'm also kind of going against the grain. I'm kind of, my grain on my neck goes this way, so I'm kind of pushing it into the grain, so it's kind of helping to first lift up the hair. That's about the consistency of a pre-shave. Sad thing is, this is what some people's shaving cream looks like. This is not what shaving cream should look like. So we're gonna go back to our bowl lather. Start building this scene out. The other great thing, imagine just a little bit of some water here, kind of sensing immediately that need a little more hydration. The other kind of thing that a pre-shave does, I've always found, is it really kind of amplifies how much volume of lather you're gonna get. It's almost like the pre-shave, which is a soap, combines with your shaving cream or shaving soap itself, kind of makes a super lather. So I've always got a lot more volume when I use both. And I'm gonna be doing a lot of swirls, you noticing? And that's to, again, use the tips of the brush to really do their job, which is not just to paint on a lather. You notice I'm not just kind of painting on what I made in my bowl here. I'm really using this as a basis to then build a lather on my face. And I'm going for volume. So I found a lot of scrubbing motions help with that. That also helps to lift up hair on my face. And now I'm gonna start smoothing it out. And again, I'm gonna go against the grain to kind of help get that product underneath and really get me in a good place. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right. So it's your first straight razor shave. Couple things to note. These gold dollar razors that come from us are already stropped. They do have a light oil. If you're going to, be concerned about that oil, first off, it's mineral oil, so it's food safe, you can drink it. But if you are concerned about it, you can take a cotton towel and very carefully keep your cotton towel in the same place and slowly pull the razor on a straight line straight through. That's gonna wipe off any excess oil. That's all you really need to do to get prepped. Again, these razors are pre-stropped, so you don't have to worry about that. If we were to strop this, you can hang this up in your bathroom, and you're gonna wanna make sure to go on an X pattern. Check out our other video on stropping, all about how to use a strop properly. Number one thing to do with straight razor shaving is skin stretching. So I'm gonna start from my sideburn, and what I'm gonna do is stretch my skin up. Remember, a straight razor doesn't have a safety bar, so it doesn't pull the skin taut. That's your job. So I'm gonna pull up, and start by laying the straight razor flat against my face and then working out to find the cutting angle. So as flat as possible, and then slowly increase angle. And when it starts catching, that is your sign that you have a good angle, and you need to kind of more or less maintain that angle, which is kind of the trick of straight razor shaving. I'm using very light pressure. And you'll kind of find that magic point where when it's first kind of flat, it's not doing its job, too much angle, you'll cut yourself. The way I hold a straight razor is like this. So I have a 3-finger approach. I've also seen some people do like this, 4-finger approach. It doesn't really matter. The goal is for you to kind of feel comfortable, and you put the handle up kind of, I always describe it as 90 degrees, 180 degrees, 270 degrees. And it's almost like a foxtail. Think of it like that. Its job is to add balance. So one of the tricks with kind of getting to know straight razor shaving is getting to know your face and the way that your grain pattern is kind of laid out on your face. And that just takes time. I walked in today with 1, 2, 3, 3.5, maybe almost 4 days worth of stubble. It was a holiday weekend, and I didn't really shave this weekend. I knew we were going to do this video today, and that's actually one of the best ways to get started with you know, safety razor or straight razor shaving. Is to take some time and grow out your hair, and then you can really see which way your hair grows. I know when I got started shaving, I saw all these charts of like a man's face with like lines on it, like different patterns that are supposed to be there, and I looked at my face and I'm like, this is not the same. And so number one thing is that don't think that your face is like everyone else's. Really take the time to have the hair grow out, and get an idea of the grain map. You know, I found out when I did this, my cheeks are pretty standard. But my neck is anything but. A lot of people's necks grow up, a lot of people's necks grow down. Mine does this spirally crazy thing. And so I have to pay attention to that. Other thing to keep in mind is even if you are getting started in straight razor shaving, you should always still have a safety razor nearby, because if you're not comfortable with a certain area, don't think you need to do an entire shave to be like some straight razor master. There's no one in your bathroom inspecting your shave. There's no one who's going to say, hey, you had to clean up with a safety razor. This is a process. I like to tell people that it's a lot like learning how to drive a manual transmission automobile. And if anyone out there who has figured out a stick shift in one drive, please leave a comment, because I don't think it's possible. I think it takes many, many times. You are more of a student of stick shift driving, and you are a student of the straight razor. You are always learning. I've done this for years. I'm still learning. Now I'm going to be going up on a difficult area, so I'm actually going to flip it around and go like this. Bottom part of my neck is the absolute worst. The hair starts going up. Took me a while to learn that. Okay, pro tip. I'm right-handed, so I usually shave my right side of my face with my right hand, but for my left side, I've learned to flip hands, and I would recommend trying to get started with that as soon as possible. It may seem odd, but in time you'll thank me. Well, sometimes in the middle of a shave, you need to refreshen your lather, especially when you are spending half your shave talking to someone in the bathroom with a camera. So So always a good time to just give a quick refresh. I was also going to say earlier that there's kind of two different thoughts on how to deal with your stubble that comes on your edge. One way is to rinse it off carefully in the sink, obviously under running water, not swish it in a bowl full of water. That's an accident waiting to happen with hitting the edge on the porcelain. Method number two, you may see barbers doing this, where they'll actually do a little bit of some shaving. Like that. And they're going to take it and go backwards on a towel like that. And backwards, of course, is you don't want to ever push your edge into a material. But backwards will almost be like stropping. So different strokes for different folks. So you notice one other thing I do is I'm kind of going over the same area a couple times. That may kind of scare you. Rest assured, it's more like a blade buffing technique. I do the same thing with safety razors. I often tell people that straight razor shaving is so different because it reminds me, it's an analog experience. It's the best way I could describe it. It's like this is the needle, your face is the record, and you're feeling every little bump and groove. I will say though, if I have to do a beard reduction, let's say, a lot of times I grow a beard, or if I take my goatee off, I don't even people sometimes say grab a beard trimmer and take it down. I go right for the straight razor. I find that it's one really big advantage of straight razor shaving is that you don't have to deal with any blades clogging up safety razors are awesome, but they're gonna clog up, they're gonna get a bunch of hair in them too, on their guard. The whole idea of a safety razor actually came from putting a guard onto a straight razor. One trick to deal with the Adam's apple that I read online somewhere, could even been from Mark over at Sharpologist, is to kind of either swallow and hold it, which kind of puts your Adam's apple up a little bit, or what I do, my secret trick, is I pull my skin out of the way. And that way I can kind of shave it and then it goes back and my neck's none the wiser. So, now for today's kind of purposes, I'm going to leave it there with one pass. And I'd also recommend for you, if this is your first time straight razor shaving, or even the first couple of times, keep it there. I know a lot of people talk about, 3-pass shave, and that's awesome, and that's great, or 2-pass shave, but I'd say take it in baby steps. So, to properly put away your straight razor, you want to make sure it's clean and dry, and you can always take either your strap or a hand towel and just very quickly, very lightly go against, the towel like this with the blade trailing, the blade's edge trailing, and that's just to serve to clean the blade off, make sure there's no, hair or soap on there. And I always recommend leaving this open. If you have little ones, put it somewhere safe, but leave it open. That way it has time to air dry. Maybe an hour or two later, close it up and put it away. But one of the number one reasons people have rust form on their edge is they put it away wet, or they close it all the way right up after their shave. So don't want to do that. I hope today's video has been enlightening. I hope that it gives you a little confidence that you can try straight razor shaving, and we have this awesome kit and other great products here at RazorEmporium designed to help get you started. They are also products great for the long run. This is an awesome razor you can use for years and years, or use it as your second razor if you turn one in for honing or whatever. Enjoy straight razor shaving. Enjoy all the videos and education from RazorEmporium.com. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.